This is the new Silent 62 tri-deck, and this is based around the Silent 62 we had before, but what they've done is greatly increase the size on top, and in fact you can have an enclosed third deck up there as well, but I'll explain that a bit better when we get up on board and tell you all about it. But the big news with these, of course, is the fact they're electric drive. They have a lot of solar power, and we'll talk through that a little bit further into the video. So we're going to step on here. Of course, the big news, as ever with a catamaran, is the sheer beam. We've got a lift platform here. This will take a 4-metre tender and drop that down into the water. There's also a passerelle that extends directly out of here, so you can use that obviously to get out onto the quay if you're stern to berth. But yeah, that's quite an imposing boat from here, isn't it? It's a big 62-footer. Let's go and take a look. So step on here. We've got access to, I was going to say engine room, and that's not quite true with this, of course, because it is electric powered, so motor room perhaps might be a better expression for that. But we'll take a look at the accommodation first of all, and we'll work our way up and round and through. Big cockpit area here, protected by the overhang, so you've got a lot of space there. That one there is just storage. And you've got this area here, which is quite nice because it's quite sheltered. When the boats head to wind, of course, it's open to the interior, but it is sheltered from the wind. So that's a nice space. And then in here, now they will configure this pretty much however you want. So the normal layout is to have the galley aft, as we've got it here. In fact, they're building one at the minute which can have the galley down on the lower deck and have this all as lounge area. It just depends what you want, but they'll talk through that with you and try and build you the boat that you want. So obviously we've got well, things like storage in here. I'm opening all the cupboards that are full of stuff, aren't they? They're not going to thank me for this. Dishwasher is here as well, for those of you having a dishwasher bet. And you've got, of course, cooking and the hob and that sort of thing. Refrigeration, and it's behind me, that's over here. So we've got this big American style fridge freezer over on that side. And then if we come on forward a bit further, well, again, it's just space, isn't it? Acres and acres of space. And you'll see we've got walkways down into the holes here and here and here. And you can have this as a 3, a 4 or a 5 cabin layout. This one, I think I'm right in saying, is a 5, but we'll count them as we go around. So I think what we'll do is we'll head down here first of all, and then we'll work our way round and across and back. So down here, we've got a VIP cabin here, like this. This is a nice size. And you've got the little dressing area on this side. We've got wardrobe. And behind, of course, this kind of thing. Decent whole windows. The ensuite then is up here, up towards the bow. And you've got your sink and you've got your shower. I'm stating the obvious again, aren't I? But nonetheless, there it is. Let's get the mirror wave in before I forget. I keep forgetting them these days. So many boats, not enough mirror waves. But the interesting thing with this is you can have this as an owner's cabin right throughout this whole hull. So this particular boat has got another smaller cabin back here. So we've got it's either a big single or a very cosy double, depending on who you're with and how wide you are. Again, lots of storage about the place, such as underneath here. But if you wanted to have this as a big dressing room or an office or however else you wanted to lay it out, they will do that for you. And then this one, of course, has got its own ensuite back here. Again, if you're using this as a huge owner's cabin, you wouldn't have the ensuite at each end. Well, unless you wanted to. Of course you could do, but it would be a little bit pointless. You could even have this, I would imagine, it's just a massive, massive ensuite right the way through here. That'd be impressive, wouldn't it? But yeah, configure that how you wish. These stairs lift basically to give you access to engineering space. So if you look underneath there, you can see pumps and wiring and all that kind of stuff. That's just to get you access to that. So if we come up then and work our way across, so we've seen 2 cabins and we've got 2 more down here. Laundry facilities are down here as well. And this one think I'm right in saying is the owner's cabin. Yes, it is. So this is the biggest one in the boat. So we've got the ensuite here, door that slides across like a pocket door. Shower is in there. And then we can come forward. And we've got this one like this. Very nice. Again, big whole window, lovely view from here actually. We're in Cannes at the moment. Look at this. Fantastic. So that's that fella. A bit more storage over in places like this as well. And then we can come back. I'll show the wardrobes as we're going past. There we are. Back past the stairway where we came down, and another cabin is back here. So that's 4 that we've looked at now. Again, the shower, again, the loo in there, again the pocket door that slides across. 2 singles in this one. But of course if you wanted a double here, then you could have it. Hanging locker here. And I think I'm right in saying that's small bits of storage back there. Let's have a look, shall we? Yeah, there we go. There we are. Try not to mess up the bed too much. So there we are. That's that one. Again, the stairs lift for access to engineering areas. Trying to trip over my tongue. And then there's another one over here. Now this, of course it can be a guest cabin, but quite often this is used as a captain's cabin because it's a completely separate area in the boat. And you've got a nice double bed down here. And the sink and the loo. And then the shower is there. So a little bit smaller, a little bit more compact, but a very, very nice captain's cabin or overflow cabin. It's a perfectly good guest cabin in its own right, isn't it? And again, then we've got the hanging lockers over on this side. There we are. So that's that. Let's head back on up and forward. Battery banks are underneath the floor, up through here. This one's been fitted with more refrigeration. So all the way up through here. There we go. But yeah, big space, isn't it? And we can head right up forward, and we've got the lower helm here. Now, everyone's going to say, and they'll be quite right, well, there's no steering wheel. And there isn't, because when you're out at sea, you're running on autopilot. When you're in harbour, you're manoeuvring on the engines. But in fact, there is a tiller here linked to the autopilot, so you can steer it with this. And again, if you want a wheel, they will do that for you. We'll come back to that. That's quite interesting. That's the whole battery setup there, and overview of all of the solar and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, let's come back to that. There is the doorway here will take you straight out onto the foredeck. This is a nice little area actually. When you're underway, this is a great place to sit, looking out across the front. That's fantastic. We've got the steps up here, we've got a bit of sunbathing up here, and a bit of shade from this overhang as well, which is nice. And then this is absolutely colossal storage areas up here. Let me show you this one over here we looked in earlier. Here we go, look at that. Just vast. So for, I don't know, inflatable paddle boards or other gear that you want to keep on board and tuck away, that's perfect for that. And in fact, this one here drops right down into this hull. You can see one of the bow thrusters there. But yeah, look at the space that's in there, it's just vast. That is absolutely what you get with the catamaran. It's acres and acres of space. We've got a side deck here, of course, that goes aft, but I think I'll take you back down the other side. Little dolphin watching seats up here in the corners, and then that one opens like so, and what we've got here is a small crew cabin. So if I loop around here, there we go. So we've got, there we go, bed that disappears out across there. Sink is in there as well. And then just behind me here, we've got the shower, which you can see up there, so that's basically a wet room, and the loo is there. There we go. Good, right, let's come out of here and up and back and up. Plenty more to see. Look at Cannes in the sunshine, I love it down here. Such a great spot. Let's drop that one down. There we go, and we'll wander down this side and take in a bit more. This is a nice little nook sat here, and this window here slides so you can pass stuff straight out from the galley to there as well. Okay, we'll come right on back, and I'm going to take you on up. Another fridge out here, and that one there, a bit more storage. It's everywhere, isn't it? And that looks like it's got a cantilever seat to bring it the other way and face out the back. That'd be nice. Okay, over this side, there's Maggie hiding. This is the big change, because this used to have quite a small Flybridge with, I don't know whether you remember, there's like a lowering section that came down and enclosed it, and that had all the solar panels on. What I've done with this is gone, do you know what, forget that, let's take this right the way out and right the way across, put a permanent fixed hardtop on it, and just create a wonderful extra deck up on top. So this is vastly, vastly bigger than what you used to get, and it makes a lot of sense. Because, well, why wouldn't you? Huge amount of sunbathing right across the back. And then this area here, you can configure however you want. So if you want to change the bar area or move the dining table across or anything else like that, then you can do. There's another helm position up here, but what is interesting is there's an option whereby you can come up those stairs, there'll be a bulkhead that will be about here, and this will give you another upper deck owner's cabin with amazing views all the way around. Of course, it'll have an ensuite and that kind of thing, but like a private separate cabin up here. Take you up to 6 cabins if you want it, but then you might reconfigure downstairs to reuse those cabins as we spoke about earlier. So yeah, this is going to have a proper tri-deck upper enclosed area. If we go over here, well, the bar of course is here again. You can fit this out however you want. This particular boat's got the refrigeration, it's got the ice maker, got the sink over here. If you want to barbecue, you can have it. Again, do whatever you want there, like this little serving area up on top of here. That's nice, makes a great bar area. And then the upper helm is here. Again, no wheel. Again, you can have it if you want to, but this one's got the tiller control linked through to the autopilot. Again, when you're manoeuvring in here, you're on thrusters and engines. When you're out at sea, you're on autopilot, so it doesn't get a lot of use, but if you want it, you can have it. And we can see some of the solar array here across the front. And then there's another massive solar array right the way across this whole hardtop. And we'll talk a bit more about that in a little while. I'll get somebody technical to talk to us about that, because there's quite a lot to discuss there, and I think we need to do it justice. So we'll come down here. I'll give you a quick look into one of those motor spaces. As I say, we shouldn't really call it an engine room, and then we can go from there. Okay, I'm going to introduce you to Steve Bell. Hi Steve, how are you doing?
Hi Nick, good to meet you.
Steve is part of the board of Silent Yachts and has also done quite a bit of boating on this boat yourself, I think I'm right in saying.
I've indeed, yes.
Excellent. What would be brilliant, Steve, is we can have a quick look in the motor space.
Okay.
And then if you can talk us through the power control thing that we looked at earlier, and just have a chat about the sort of the range and the speeds and that sort of thing, that would be brilliant.
Absolutely. absolutely fantastic.
Excellent. Okay, we're going to open this one up. Okay, so basically it's a big electric motor, isn't it?
Yes.
And there's one of those on each side?
Yes, one on each side like a standard cat.
Fantastic. And there's not a lot else to see because the batteries, of course, are in the centre, aren't they?
Correct.
Yeah. And that wheel there, emergency steering?
Emergency steering, correct, yeah, big stern thrusters.
Ah, yes. Perfect. Okay, so not a great deal to see in there because it is obviously electric powered, so it is just that big electric motor. But we're going to have a little chat at the helm and go through exactly what the specification is on this one. So, Steve, talk us through it.
Okay, conventional Raymarine controls like we'd see on any other boat.
Yeah.
The master control for the electric system is here, showing us our 80% in our high voltage batteries, which runs the motor drive system and the 240 volt system. Low voltage is your conventional 24 volt system for you would have on any boat. We've got here in terms of solar gain at the minute, we're at only 2 kilowatts, the sun's starting to drop a bit now. 2 kilowatts driving the high voltage system.
Okay, and I saw that earlier, that was running at 4, so I guess it depends very much on whether it's any cloud over or whatever else.
Yeah, indeed. We had in Croatia a couple of weeks ago, we were producing 10 kilowatts every hour.
Wow.
That's, as September the sun starts to go down a little bit. So
yeah. And so what's the boat using now? Obviously we're not running the boat at the minute, we're only running what they call the hotel loads.
Yeah, so the hotel load at the moment is 2 kilowatts.
Okay.
So we are producing about the same as the boat is using.
Right.
But being a boat show, we have most of the lights on, etc.
Yeah.
So you could manage that down to probably a kilowatt in real terms without the air conditioning.
Yeah, of course. So in terms of running them, what size are those motors?
So the motors are 340 kilowatt peak.
Right.
And they'll run continuously at 180 kilowatts.
Okay.
It's quite a big motor.
Yeah.
So to give you an idea, at 7.5, 8 knots, we're using 20 kilowatts a side.
Right.
So we've got a huge amount of reserve.
Right.
So we're not putting any strain on the motors.
Yeah.
We've also got 286 kilowatts of total capacity within the batteries.
Okay, wow.
So a huge amount of capacity.
Yeah.
So it's very easy running this in Croatia. We were running this at 2 or 3 hours cruising a day, hotel load, doing the aircon and running the boat. And we had 3 days with, I think we had about 45-minute generator use in the whole of the 3 days. So very sustainable.
So that presumably isn't quite enough that you can run the boat indefinitely. In other words, it's not pulling enough power through those solar panels to actually drive the boat forward as such. I guess it will do most of it.
It will do, it won't do indefinitely unless you're doing 2 or 3 knots, which
Right.
isn't really sustainable when this boat sits nicely at 6 to 8 knots cruising speed.
Yeah.
So for those sort of boating that we do 2 or 3 hours a day into a harbour or an anchorage or mooring, and then sit, swim and chill out, it works great.
Right.
And that's where it's designed for.
Okay, so you run it for a few hours and then you're at anchor and then it's gaining. So
Yes,
it's gaining back that power that you've used and then you're good to go again.
Yes, indeed. And if you're doing extended cruising, you've got to balance between 2.5 hours silent with an hour on the generator.
Right.
So you just balance it for extended passage making.
And what kind of range would that give you running like that?
Close to 2,000 miles if you manage it, even more, but realistically 2,000 mile range based on the 2,000 litre capacity fuel tanks.
Right, okay, no, that's fair enough. And maximum speed?
12 knots.
Okay, but your normal cruising speed is 6 to 8?
Runs lovely at 6 to 8 knots.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
at 6 knots it's very, very economical.
Yeah.
So it's like most boats, you slow it down and it's very, very economical.
Absolutely, we talk about that a lot.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah.
Fantastic. Good. I think that's pretty much covered it. Obviously, if you want to know more, then drop these guys a line and they'll get as technical as you like. But I think for the purposes of this video, I think we've probably nailed the basics, haven't we?
Yeah, thanks, Nick.
That's a pleasure. That's lovely. Okay, so there we go. That's it, guys. As ever, interested in your thoughts. This kind of boating, I think, it's only going to become more popular with the sort of the solar power. As I say, it's not completely solar powered, but certainly a very great deal of the load is taken by those solar cells. Let me know what you think in the comments. Huge thanks to Silent Yachts, of course, for organising the tour, and we'll catch you on one of these real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.